What's poppin', Who Dat Nation? Welcome into today's show. I'm your host, Trace Gerard. Got a lot to dive into today, but before we get started, I want to ask you, if you hate the Falcons, subscribe today. We're the channel for you if you bleed black and gold. If you love the New Orleans Saints and you hate the Atlanta Falcons, go down, subscribe, and join our squad. Trying to get to 15K by the end of the offseason. Welcome into today's show. I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend, and I hope that y'all have a fun weekend planned ahead. Like I said, my name is Trace Gerard, and welcome into today's show. We're going to break down a lot of news, a lot of rumors heading into the weekend, and we're going to start off with this. Could Bobby Wagner be headed to the New Orleans Saints? Interesting enough, the Rams are cutting Bobby Wagner. However, it will not be official until the start of the new league year, which is March 15th. However, this is worth noting, teams can start tampering on March 13th, meaning the Saints could go and talk to him about potentially signing. Wagner was an all-pro at 32 years old this past season, and I think that he might be a guy that the Saints should go look at. Look, if you take a look at the stats that he put up, just in terms of his tackling production, it's incredible. 140 tackles, 6 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. The guy can ball. He's a baller, and he's a gamer through and through. But not only is he great when it comes to tackling and ending plays, he's also great in coverage. And in this past season, 17 games played, he allowed a sub 69% completion percentage. Very nice, great success. 359 yards given up, 2 touchdowns, and then on the year he had 2 interceptions, 5 pass breakups. If you see the background, that's at the Saints game, and in that game, he got smoked because the Saints own the Rams, as we all know. But look at the linebackers depth chart, and this is why I bring this up. So you have a guy like Caden Ellis, you have a guy like Demario Davis, and you have a guy like Peat Werner. All three very talented, all three great linebackers whenever they're playing. However, Caden Ellis is a guy who could potentially leave in free agency. I think that Caden Ellis is a player that a lot of Saints fans are very high on, including me. I would love to see Bobby Wagner come in and fill the need, or not fill the need, but fill a spot on this linebacker depth chart to add some talent. That being said, my take is I think he's a great football player. I think he's a talented guy. Absolutely, he would be very fun and be very exciting to have on this team. But he'd be expensive, and there are bigger needs for the Saints this offseason. So if you ask me, I would rather just make it a priority and go pay Caden Ellis to bring him back. Make sure that the scheme is fitting for him. Make sure that the money is there for him. As we talked about in yesterday's video, there's clear interest on both sides for him to come back. It's just a matter of the money and the numbers and the scheme that he's going to be playing in to see if it's a fit. But I want you to let me know in the comment section. Pick a linebacker. Type BW for Bobby Wagner. Type KE for Caden Ellis. You might get hit with the YouTube ad break right here. So if you do, take advantage of it. Don't click out of the video. Just scroll down. Answer the question. And I promise you, by the time you share your thoughts, scroll back up. We'll be right back breaking down more news and rumors. All right, so now we have to discuss some contract news. And this is important information. This is really exciting information. Tyrann Mathieu had $4.668 million cleared on his contract. This puts the Saints over the cap about $31.4 million. And this is notable because they had Tyrann Mathieu's contract fully guaranteed off the rip. Like, he got signed and it was all guaranteed money. But this just further allows Tyrann Mathieu to play, to ball out, to help out, and then also opens up the door to be able to go and get a potential restructuring next offseason, a potential contract extension if he decides he wants to play through 2024, 2025. These are all things that are very doable. It's exciting to have Tyrann Mathieu getting paid, and it's exciting or having that adjusted. I love that he was able to take a little bit of the money off and move it around. He's still getting paid. All the money is going around, but Saints are about $31.4 million under the cap. And then this coming in from Tom Pelissero. The Saints are closing in on a deal with on a multi-year contract extension with Tano Passanon. Per sources, Tano Passanon, has 6 sacks over the past 2 seasons in New Orleans and was set to become a free agent. And this is a guy that I think is a great depth piece. In a lot of other spots, I think that he could be a DE2, a DE3. I think he could be a very legitimate defensive line threat, but because of how much juice there is on the Saints defensive line and how much they rotate those guys in and out, I think that he's a phenomenal player to have in the rotation and a phenomenal guy to keep on the bottom part of the, not on the bottom part of the roster, but keep in the depth chart, because when you're putting up sacks and you're a team that doesn't get a lot of sacks with your defensive line, it certainly helps. So if we want to just take a quick look at just, this is about as basic of the salary cap moves as you could get. So Marcus Maye, this is starting up. This is pretty much all the moves that have been made so far. His contract has been restructured to save $4.9 million. Erik McCoy, center, contract restructured to save $10 million. Ryan Ramczyk, contract restructured to save $10.336 million. Wil Lutz actually had his contract lowered, meaning the Saints are bringing him back. They're going to run it back. Both parties are banking on a bounce-back year for Wil Lutz, so that way maybe you pay him next year, but contract lowered to $1.5 million nonetheless from, I believe, 3.7, if I have that correct. So a pretty nice considerable cut for Wil Lutz. And then Tyrann Mathieu, $4.668 million. And here's some more moves. Remember everyone who said this. Trace, we're in salary cap hell. How are we going to pay anybody? There's no way any of this could happen. Well, here's a bunch of other moves that could realistically happen very soon and be very doable and save a lot of money for the Saints. Taysom Hill, you could restructure his contract and save about $6.6 million. Cameron Jordan, the man. Love you, buddy. Thanks for quote tweeting me yesterday again. Thanks, shout out to all of y'all who typed 94 in the comment section. You could restructure him to save $10 million. Same with Marshon Lattimore. Same with Demario Davis, but you save $5.8 million. Andrus Peat, this is an interesting one where I don't want to say cut him and get him out of here because he's talented when he plays, but that's when he plays. And the best ability is availability. I think that he's a guy that you might want to look to replace in the draft. I think you could probably get somebody a little bit younger, cheaper, and healthier. But you could restructure his contract and save about $7.9 million, or you could even cut him and save $11.8 million. Jameis Winston, same thing. You could cut him, so $12.8 million. Michael Thomas, he had his contract restructured in order to be cut and have the minimal cap hit possible, which is about $1.2 million, give or take. And all of these moves together, if you add up all the numbers, could clear $54.3 million. And if you think about it, it's kind of ridiculous when the Saints were about $60 million over the cap, and everyone was saying, there's nothing you can be done. You might not even have to cut a ton of players that you weren't really planning on getting rid of anyway, and you could still get back into good cap savings. But I want you to let me know and like this video if you want the Saints to keep making moves to keep freeing up cap space. Khai, Harley, Mickey Loomis, they're putting in the work. They're getting busy. I want all of y'all to hit the thumbs up icon, like this video. If you want the Saints to keep making moves and keep freeing up money, don't be the jinx. Hit the thumbs up icon. And also, I'm curious. I'm wanting to go get a new Saints jersey. I got a Tyrann Mathieu one. I got a Drew Brees one. I need to get a new one. And so I want you guys to let me know. Do I go Taysom Hill, Chris Olave, Cam Jordan, Marshon Lattimore? What do I do? What jersey should I get next? Let me know in the comments section. And if you want to get a jersey and get geared up with me, you can get a fresh jersey at chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. Now, these are 100% authentic Nike jerseys. Ain't no fugazis, ain't no shiesties out here. We ain't playing games. We're keeping it $150 and getting you a real damn jersey. So use the link chatsports.com/Saints jerseys to get geared up for the next season. I'll have that link in the comment section and the description of today's video. Go get geared up. Chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. All right, last things last, to round out today's show, we got to talk Derek Carr, because when Derek Carr news comes in, we have to break it down. Sorry, Kermit the Frog, I know you're not going to like this segment, but going to have to talk about it anyway, because quite honestly, it's my job and I get paid to do it. So, 3 teams, there's a report coming in from Diana Rossini that 3 teams have recently called and connected with Derek Carr, in addition to the Jets and the Saints, who are the only 2 teams who have met with him at the time of this filming. So, could Carr's market be heating up? Reports from Diana Rossini say he's looking for about $35 million a year or more. And a quote from them, he doesn't need to be the first quarterback to get signed. And that is pretty interesting if you ask me. I think that says a lot about how Derek Carr wants to make sure he puts himself in a good position to succeed, in a position to make as much money as possible. At the end of the day, like I said with Caden Ellis yesterday, you can't blame him, because if you were in this situation, you would want to make as much money and you would want to be as successful as possible as well. But I have 3 possible teams. I kind of just got a little crazy with it. I cooked up some ideas in my head, and I've been seeing a lot of weird buzz about Lamar to the Dolphins and how maybe Tua might not be, they're going to run back, but they might be looking for a better long-term answer. So I threw the Dolphins on here just as an idea, but Washington Commanders, I could see them being a team that wants to go and sign a veteran quarterback. They're trying to run it back with Sam Howell. They just brought in Eric Bieniemy. You're telling me you wouldn't want to have a better veteran quarterback with a great offensive mind? That makes too much sense. I think that the Washington is a sneaky team to keep an eye out on. And then last but not least, Tennessee Titans. They may look to move on from Ryan Tannehill. I don't think that they're necessarily sold on Malik Willis, so we'll have to see. But honest to God, I don't think that he goes to one of those 3 teams. I think this is more of a smokescreen. I think this is one of those things that his agent is trying to make things happen. He's trying to bolster up the news, trying to stir up the pot, trying to get things rolling, because he wants to, A, get him as much money as possible and drive up his market, and B, maybe get the teams who are uninterested to just get out of there. I don't know if that would be even like a realistic possibility, but like I think that the Jets are kind of sold on, we're going to wait for Aaron Rodgers. And the fact that Derek Carr has no problem waiting, that says a lot. And so what I will say is, if you don't end up with Derek Carr, here are a couple quarterback options that you could explore. And now I picked 2 free agents, 2 trades, and 2 draft guys. And I've talked about some of these guys before. I haven't talked about a ton of these guys, or I haven't talked a ton about some of them. But Lamar Jackson, there's clearly issues in terms of the money and how much money that he wants and how he wants it all completely guaranteed. This is an absolutely massive long shot to ever happen. And I want to make it blatantly clear. I don't think that it is a realistic thing. But that being said, they said that Russell Wilson wasn't going to the Broncos. They said a lot of other things. Tyreek Hill getting traded to the Chiefs out of like crazy, or getting traded to the Dolphins. I mean, the NFL is unpredictable. So my point is, you can't technically truly rule it out, but I just don't think it's likely. Justin Fields, he's a guy you could trade for. I've seen a lot of people mentioning that they like his upside, his dual threat ability. The Saints organization in the front office has also mentioned that they like the dual threat ability in a future quarterback, whoever that is. And then another guy, draft, Hendon Hooker. I've talked about him a million times. Y'all know that he's my dude. Very accurate, dual threat guy out of Tennessee. Another free agent, Jimmy Garoppolo. He's going to be expensive. He's going to want some money. He's not going to be a guy that you just can pick up at the end of the offseason. He's going to be a guy that a lot of teams, if Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, once these things kind of start falling into place, I expect that to go, for Jimmy G to find a home as well. Mac Jones is a guy you could possibly trade for. That's an interesting name. Maybe the Patriots are looking to move on. Maybe they want to bring somebody new in. I don't know. I've seen some pretty cool edits of Mac Jones in the Saints jersey, so I will say that would be kind of cool. And also, I know that a lot of people have a distaste for Mac Jones because maybe they don't think he's good, but I have this theory that he just can't play in the cold. He was wildly successful whenever he played at Alabama, and he won a lot of games. He wasn't the greatest quarterback in the whole wide world of all time ever, but that being said, he still played damn good football. Can't really argue it. Anthony Richardson, this is one that I see a lot of people really like. There's a lot of buzz that the Colts, that the Panthers, that one of these teams could trade up to with Chicago to go and get Anthony Richardson, number 1 overall, which I think is just an absolute joke. And I don't think that any team should trade up for Anthony Richardson to go 1 overall. But he's a guy that that you could potentially get if he somehow falls to 29. I've seen a lot of mock drafts to have Anthony Richardson go to the Saints. He's a definite dual threat guy. He's a definite talent on the football field. I don't know if I'm sold on him, considering he had multiple weeks where he had no touchdowns and multiple interceptions in a row. That's just my thing. I'm not crazy on him. I also need to do a lot more research, to be fair. So I want you guys to let me know about Derek Carr, though. Would you pay Derek Carr $35 million per year? Type P for pay. Type E for that's too expensive. I don't want to do it. I saw Nick Underhill mentioning that he thinks it'll be more close to the $25 to $30 million range. So I think that's a little bit more realistic. But let me know in the comments section, Who Dat Nation, it's always been a pleasure and always has been, always will be. Y'all stay golden. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you next time.